Hello, welcome to Silence in the City. This is Sunday Gospel Reflection for today, March 24, 2024. So, for this Sunday, the Gospel reading is quite long. It's two chapters from Mark, chapter 14 and 15, and it outlines essentially the passion of the Lord Jesus Christ. So, the plot to have him killed, and then his arrest, the whole mock trial thing with the chief priests, Pontius Pilate, and then all the way up to his crucifixion and eventual burial. So, pretty long gospel reading. If you are Catholic, you go to Mass, there's going to be this whole skit that they play around with. But I want to just focus on one thing, one aspect of this reading, which is throughout the whole mock trial and before the chief priests and Pontius Pilate, Jesus appears to just accept everything. So he's quiet. I mean, he answers somewhat, but eventually he just appears to just accept all the mockery, all the insults, and he just doesn't fight back. So it's as if he's not defending himself. Okay? I mean, in hindsight, as a Christian, I know that he is innocent, but in this case, no defense. And so he's convicted, quote unquote, he's convicted and then sent off to be crucified. So in that sense, the Christian faith actually, if you think about it, we actually worship a convicted criminal, in a sense, okay? So, the thing I want to touch upon here is what it means to be patient. So the common understanding of patience seems to confuse patience with tolerance or endurance. So the idea of me running out of patience, so when I say that I'm running out of patience, it seems as if I, have this tank of patience and it's slowly getting used up. Okay, that actually is not patience. That's tolerance or endurance, and then it's just running thin. The idea of patience, so here, when you look at Jesus, it's not, I don't think that he's being tolerant or he's just enduring the insults. So what's happening here, the superpower, in a sense, that Jesus is exhibiting here is not that he has this superhuman ability to endure mockery and insults. It's more of he has a very clear understanding of what he needs to do. He has a very clear understanding of what his mission is. Okay? And so, because he has a very clear understanding of what his mission is, he has this sheer clarity of thought, then it's very difficult, if it's well nigh impossible actually, for anything to distract him from that value. So he knows the value of what he needs to do. It's very clear to him. And so there is nothing that can distract him from that, from the pursuit of that value. So he's, in a sense, in theory or in principle, he could never run out of patience. It's impossible because the value of what he has to do, his perception, his clarity, his clear perception of the value of what he has to do will never change. And so it's impossible for any distraction or anything to distract him. Okay, so no mockery, no insult will ever change his perception of what he has to do. So if you think about it, if someone says something to me and I consider it an insult, I consider it an insult because my attention to what I'm supposed to be doing is being shifted away. It's being shifted away. I hear the thing the other person says, and that's why I consider it an insult, because it hurts me. But if you think about it, if I'm so involved, if I'm so deep in what I'm doing, because I see the value of what I'm doing, it's very clear to me, then nothing anyone says is going to divert my attention away. So case in point, sometimes, I don't know if you've experienced this, but sometimes when we are so deep into something, like we're so working on something, we're so involved in something, the hours go by and you forget to eat, so hunger doesn't set in, or at least the feeling of hunger doesn't set in. And you look up at the clock and whoa, so many hours have gone by and you're not tired. So these rare occasions where we so love what we're doing and we spend so much time on it, and yet after that we don't feel tired, there's no fatigue, we're not stressed, we love what we're doing, etc. So here's a case in point where the value of the thing that I'm doing is so clear to me that even hunger doesn't distract me from it. Even sleep doesn't distract me from it. I'm so pulled into it. Okay? Some people might call that obsessed or obsessed. But if you're the one in that thing, if you're the one pursuing that passion, for example, then maybe driven or ultra motivated or flow state. These are other terms that might be more applicable. Okay, so and sometimes when I'm working on that thing, so you might have some projects on the side or some hobbies that when you're stressed or anxious, when you do those hobbies, all your anxieties and stresses go away. Okay, those hobbies might seem dumb to other people. Okay, but for you, it just brings you to a very clear place. It settles you, it calms you down, and you're still doing something productive. There's no stress. So that's the key to patience, actually. It's not an ability to endure, but it's this ability to see value for what it is. And therefore, you can say all you want. I mean, other people can say all they want. It's not going to affect me because I can't even hear it. So in a sense, if someone can say something to me, if I'm distracted, I'll see it as an insult. But if I'm involved in what I'm doing, I won't even hear the thing. You can just say it, it'll come out the other ear. Okay? So Jesus here, I mean, the physical pain aside, for sure he felt the physical pain, but even at times, right, like you're so involved in something and you can get hurt and not, like, for example, playing sports. So I love combat sports. So sometimes when you're playing a sport and you get hit or you trip or something, you're so involved in the sport that you can't even feel the physical pain. Like your pain tolerance goes high. Not so much the pain tolerance, but your mind is involved in something else that it doesn't even process the neurons for that pain, for the wound or for the injury. Okay, so sometimes when we're playing sports very actively or very intensely, we feel the pain the next day. Okay, so in this sense, Jesus being silent before the high priest and Pontius Pilate, it's not because he's being tolerant of their mockery. I think Jesus knows that him defending his case before Pontius Pilate is a pointless endeavor. There is no point in him defending himself before Pontius Pilate because doing so contributes nothing to the value of what he's doing. Okay, in a sense, it's like I don't have to justify myself to you if I'm talking to someone who's mocking me. Like, I don't need to justify myself to you. Like, personally, I used to suffer a lot from this. Like, I had this felt need to justify myself to other people. And it actually is very freeing. If you're able to realize that, I think this affects a lot of people, that you don't need to justify yourself before, you don't need to prove anything. Right? Then, okay, just say, the other person can just say what they want, and there's no point in me even defending myself. So, and again, but this is, we have to nuance this, right? Like, of course, we defend ourselves when necessary. Okay, but in a sense of, there's a very thin line here. Defending myself when necessary because justice needs to be done, or defending myself from mockery. Like, there's a sort of shallow kind of defending myself when I defend myself against someone who's mocking me. I think I'm defending myself, but in reality, I just feel hurt. So we need to know the difference. I feel hurt, and so I have to justify myself before this other person because I feel hurt. Right? That's something, if I learn to let go of that, it's really freeing. Right? I don't need to justify myself because I feel hurt. Okay? So, the Lord knows what he has to do. Jesus knows exactly what he has to do. And even if he defends himself against Pontius Pilate, even if he's able to maybe, I don't know, buy some more time and stay his execution, I'm pretty sure he's aware that it's going to happen anyway down the line. It's just delaying the inevitable. So, yeah, so there you go. We can actually connect this to one of Christianity's more difficult teachings, which is turn the other cheek. Right? So when someone hits you, the Christian instruction is to turn the other cheek. This is figurative, of course. But nevertheless, the turning the other cheek thing is not, it's not about Christianity being weak. Like, I turn the other cheek because I'm meek. Okay? I turn the other cheek because it's not worth fighting this person, for example. Okay, I pick the fights that are worth it, and it's rarely, if you think about it, it's rarely worth it. Like, I can't, off the top of my head, I can't think of any situation where fighting someone, this is outside of self-defense, okay? Self-defense and sport situations. Sport, to me, is not fighting, it's a competition. But outside of self-defense or defending others, etc., or in a war, just war, okay, so defending my country, etc., fighting someone is hardly worth it. Like, it's almost always a better pursuit to just talk about it, or to diffuse a situation or be civil. So that's the key to patience. It's not endurance, but being able to see clearly what the value is in front of me. And so I'm able to stick to that and be involved and engrossed and going for that value, and not being distracted by insults. So, mockery, insult, these are just things to distract us from what really is valuable. Okay? If I had a peso or a dollar for every single time I paid attention to someone who mocked me, then I would be really wealthy by now. It's really not worth it. And that's, I think, an important thing that the Lord is displaying here. Okay, so know the difference. What it means to be patient, it's not endurance, it's not tolerance, it's being clear with what I'm supposed to be doing. Okay, so have a blessed Holy Week ahead, and hope you like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.